Seniors over 60, stop eating these 7 fruits that weaken your legs. Have you ever stood up from your favorite chair and wondered why it felt harder than it used to? Not painful, exactly just heavier. Like your legs were quietly negotiating a deal with gravity behind your back. You've been eating your fruits, taking your morning walk, maybe even passing on the bacon once in a while. So why? Despite all that, do your knees still creak like old floorboards? Why does a stroll around the block feel more like a trek through wet sand? Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't this just part of getting older? And sure, aging plays its part. But what if I told you that some of the very fruits you've always trusted to keep you healthy might be quietly working against your legs? Not because they're bad, but because your body, your circulation, and your joints have changed. And no one ever told you how to change your fruit bowl with them. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to walk through this with you like family. Let's uncover what's really happening inside your legs. One gentle truth at a time, and maybe laugh a little along the way. If you're ready, pull up a chair. Let's begin. Part 1, Everett's morning routine and the pineapple problem. Every morning, Everett from Ohio slices up his pineapple with the kind of care most folks reserve for Sunday breakfast. He's 72 lives alone and swears by his tropical fruit routine. Doctor, he told me once, if pineapple was a person, I'd marry it. We both laughed. He eats it because he heard it fights inflammation, and he's not wrong. Pineapple does contain an enzyme called bromelain, which science links to reduced swelling and pain. But here's the thing, that's not the whole story. In seniors, especially those with slower digestion and fragile circulation, pineapple can quietly stir up trouble. Why? Because it's packed with 2 things: strong natural acids and sugars. On paper, they seem harmless, but in older bodies, those sugars spike blood sugar faster than you'd expect. Let me explain why this matters. When your blood sugar rises quickly, your insulin follows, but your circulation may not. That spike and drop roller coaster can weaken the tiny blood vessels feeding your leg muscles. The result, less oxygen, less energy, more heaviness. Everett started noticing it last year. He'd get out of bed and feel that cement knee sensation. A short walk to the mailbox left him rubbing his calves. He blamed arthritis, old age, maybe too much lawn mowing. But when we looked closer, his breakfast bowl was the sneaky culprit. Not because pineapple is bad, but because his legs had changed and his fruit hadn't. Even more concerning, pineapple's acidity. For folks already dealing with knee swelling or joint stiffness, that acid can be like a match near dry leaves. It fans the flame of discomfort, especially in the knees, ankles, and toes. And just like Everett, many seniors pair it with blood thinners or medications. But bromelain can boost or block the effects of those drugs, which makes the combo risky silently so. What frustrates me most is how slowly it all happens. There's no dramatic warning, just a slow fade, less balance, more aches, shorter walks. But here's the good news. Once Everett cut back switching pineapple to a mix of berries and papaya, his legs slowly bounced back. 3 weeks later, he told me with a wink, turns out I'm not marrying pineapple after all. You don't have to quit it forever. But if your knees are whispering after breakfast, it might be time to listen. And pineapple, well, it may not be the only sweet thing playing tricks on your legs. Let's look at the next one. It's soft, yellow, and sitting right on your kitchen counter. Shall we? Part 2. The banana myth that weighs you down. Now, Let's talk about something that probably lives on your kitchen counter: bananas. They're soft, they're sweet, and they've been called nature's energy bar since forever. Heck, when I was growing up, my grandmother used to hand me a banana before school like it was a golden ticket to brain power. And in many ways, she wasn't wrong. Bananas do give you a quick boost. They're rich in potassium, easy to digest, and great for preventing cramps. But here's where the story shifts for folks over 60. See, the older we get, the more our blood sugar and fluid balance behave like moody teenagers, unpredictable, reactive, and a little dramatic. Let me introduce you to Lorraine. She's 68, lives in Florida, and walks her little Yorkie, Daisy, every morning. But she started noticing something odd. Halfway through her usual loop around the neighborhood, her ankles felt tight. By the time she got home, her legs were puffy, her knees were stiff, and she'd have to sit down with a cold cloth. She blamed the heat, the humidity, even Daisy for walking too fast. But then I asked her, what's your go-to snack before your walk? She smiled and said, half a banana. Every day? It's good for me, right. Here's the gentle truth I shared with her. Bananas aren't bad, but for some seniors, they come with baggage. Let me explain why. Bananas are rich in fast-digesting carbs and natural sugar. That means they hit your bloodstream fast, like flipping a light switch instead of dimming it gradually. For a younger body, that's no big deal. But for someone with slowed metabolism and fragile veins, it's like giving your bloodstream a sugar jolt it can't fully manage. Your insulin rushes in. Then your blood vessels, especially the tiny ones in your legs, get overwhelmed. Result: stiffness, swelling, and that heavy leg feeling that sneaks in just after breakfast. But that's not all. Bananas also increase fluid retention, especially in people who already deal with high blood pressure or mild heart issues. So that puffiness in the ankles, those sock lines that weren't there an hour ago, yeah, that could be your daily banana waving a tiny yellow flag. Lorraine was surprised. Are you saying my favorite fruit's betraying me? Not at all, I told her. But your body's relationship with it has changed? She cut back to a few slices twice a week, always paired with a bit of protein like peanut butter or a boiled egg. Within 2 weeks, her swelling faded. Her walks with Daisy felt lighter. And she started joking that Daisy was walking her now. The takeaway bananas are still a gift of nature, but too much of a good thing, especially for senior legs and circulation, can turn that gift into a slow leak of energy and comfort. And bananas aren't even the sneakiest offender. Let's move to something small, round, and juicy that most folks pop into their mouths without a second thought. You might have a bowl of them sitting in your fridge right now. Let's talk grapes. Part 3. Grapes, gout, and the sugar trap that sneaks up on seniors. Let me paint a picture for you. Mildred, 74, from South Carolina, keeps a big bowl of grapes by her recliner. She says they're her TV buddies, sweet, juicy, and easy on her dentures. She'll grab a handful during her favorite show, pop them one by one. And before the credits roll, half the bowl is gone. To be fair, grapes seem like the perfect snack. They're natural, bite-sized, and packed with antioxidants, all the buzzwords you hear on health shows. But here's the twist in older bodies. Grapes can quietly stir up joint pain and inflammation, especially in the knees, ankles, and toes. Let me explain why. Grapes are rich in fructose, a type of natural sugar. Now, fructose behaves a little differently in your body compared to regular sugar. It doesn't just float around and get used for energy like glucose. Instead, it's mostly processed in your liver, where if there's too much, it turns into fat and uric acid. And here's where the real trouble starts. Stiffness, swelling, or heat in your legs. Sound familiar? Mildred started noticing it during her church walks. She swapped them out with cherries, a few days a week, which actually lower uric acid. Now she laughs. The only thing my grapes are good for is whining as in wine. She's got a good sense of humor. That one. So here's the bottom line. Grapes are lovely in small amounts, but for senior joints, they can be a wolf and juicy. Purple clothing? Now, if you think that's surprising, wait till you hear what happens when your legs are tricked by something that looks like water but acts like sugar. Let's talk about a summer favorite, watermelon. Part 4. Watermelon. The sweet hydration that may weaken your steps. Let's talk about watermelon. It's cool, juicy, and feels harmless like biting into a slice of summer. For many seniors, it's the perfect snack. Low calorie, refreshing, and mostly water. Right. But here's the thing. Watermelon might not be as innocent as it looks, especially if your legs feel tired, heavy, or stiff after meals. Let me introduce Joe from Texas, 70 years old and proud of his garden. Every afternoon, he'd sit on the porch with a big bowl of cold watermelon. That stuff's better than air conditioning, he joked. But after a few weeks of daily watermelon, Joe noticed something. His ankles were puffier. His knees ached climbing the porch steps. His legs felt like sandbags after dinner. So what happened? Watermelon has a very high glycemic index, meaning it sends sugar into your bloodstream fast. In younger folks, that sugar spike is no big deal. But in older adults with slower metabolism and weaker circulation, it can cause real problems. When your blood sugar jumps, your insulin chases it, and your small blood vessels, especially in the legs, struggle to keep up. That leads to inflammation, swelling, and leg fatigue. Joe thought he was staying hydrated, but his body was working overtime trying to manage sugar. It's like thinking you're drinking water, but your legs feel the sugar crash. Once Joe cut back just a few slices, not half a melon, his swelling improved. He paired it with a little protein, too. Now he says, "Doc, I still love watermelon. I just don't bathe in it anymore." So, watermelon isn't the enemy. But if your legs are aching this summer, take a closer look at what's really in your bowl. And guess what? The next fruit may surprise you even more. It's citrusy, cheerful, and probably sitting in your morning juice glass. Let's talk oranges. Part 5. Oranges. The sour truth about your morning juice. Let's talk about oranges. They're bright, cheerful, and packed with vitamin C. Everywhere you look, breakfast tables, juice boxes, immune-boosting ads, oranges are the golden child of health. But for aging joints, they might not be so sweet. Meet Sharon, 73, from Arizona. She started every morning with a big glass of orange juice, thought it was healthy. But then her hips started aching, her knees stiffened after sitting, and her morning walks felt like wading through molasses. She chalked it up to aging, but here's what we discovered: oranges are full of citric acid and sugar. And that combo can quietly inflame older joints, especially if you already deal with arthritis or stiffness. The acid doesn't just stay in your stomach. It moves through your blood and irritates the soft tissues in your joints. Add the sugar spike, and now you've got swelling, soreness, and sluggish legs before the day even starts. Sharon cut back her juice to a few sips and started eating whole oranges just twice a week. She added water and berries instead. 2 weeks later, her hips thanked her. So if your healthy morning routine is leaving you sore by noon, your OJ might be part of the problem. And don't worry, citrus isn't the only fruit with a secret. The next one looks harmless, tart, crisp, and green. but for some seniors, it quietly stiffens joints and cramps legs overnight. Let's talk about green apples. Part 6: Green Apples. The tart bite that bites back. Green apples look like the picture of health. Crisp, tart, not too sweet. Perfect. Right. Well, not always. Take Frank, 69, from Oregon. He switched to green apples thinking they were the smart snack. But after a few weeks, he felt tightness in his hips. His knees popped more, and nighttime leg cramps started showing up like uninvited guests. Here's why. Green apples contain malic acid, the stuff that gives them that sour taste. In younger folks, no problem. But as we age, that acid can irritate sensitive tissues, especially joints and muscles. They also have natural sugar, which can spike blood sugar just enough to trigger inflammation, especially if you eat them before bed or on an empty stomach. Frank used to munch them at night. Now he swaps them for pears or a few cherries. His legs are quieter. His sleep is better. And the stairs don't feel like a mountain anymore. Green apples aren't bad. But for some older bodies, they just aren't the friendly snack they used to be. Next up, the sweetest one of all, soft, tropical, and loaded with natural sugar. Let's talk mangoes. Part 7: Mangoes, the sugar bomb that sneaks into your joints. Mangoes feel like sunshine in fruit form. Soft, sweet. Tropical, what could go wrong? For younger folks, not much. But for seniors, that sweetness comes at a cost. Meet Dolores, 71, from Florida. She loved her afternoon. Mango slice sugar hits fast. In older bodies with slower metabolism, it triggers insulin spikes, which lead to inflammation deep in joints. Your ankles, knees, and toes feel it first. Sometimes it shows up as stiffness. Other times, burning, tingling, or swelling after meals. Dolores had no idea her healthy treat was stirring up her joint pain. She cut back to a few bites a week, paired with protein like Greek yogurt. And just like that, her legs felt lighter. So here's the truth. Mangoes aren't evil. But for aging joints, too much of that sweet softness can quietly cause trouble. Now that we've uncovered the fruits to watch out for, let's shift to the good news. The fruits that actually help you walk stronger and feel better. Part 8: The fruits that help you walk stronger. Now for the good news, not all fruit is the enemy. Some actually help your legs, your joints, and your energy. Take berries like blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. They're low in sugar, rich in antioxidants, and fight inflammation without spiking your blood sugar. Great for circulation. Gentle on joints. Then there's cherries. Just a few can lower uric acid, easing joint pain and preventing those burning toe flares. Avocados. Yes, they're a fruit, packed with healthy fats that soothe inflammation and support joint cushioning. Plus, they help keep your blood sugar steady, no crashing. Papaya is another quiet hero. Soft, easy to digest, and full of enzymes that reduce swelling and aid digestion. Perfect for older stomachs and stiff knees. And don't forget pears. Mildly sweet, rich in fiber, and easy on circulation. They give you energy without the sugar surge. These fruits won't weigh you down. They lift you up. If your legs have been sore, swollen, or tired, a simple shift in your fruit bowl might be the gentle change your body's been asking for. Now, let's wrap this up together. Just you, me, and a little reflection. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you, not just for watching, but for caring about your body. That already makes you stronger than you think. We've talked about fruit, that may quietly wear down your legs. Pineapple, Bananas, grapes, watermelon, oranges. Eating well in your 70s isn't about giving things up. It's about choosing foods that help you feel light again on your feet and in your spirit. You don't need to overhaul your whole diet. Just start with one swap, one snack, one small kindness to your body. If this video reminded you of someone you love, a spouse, a neighbor, a friend, please share it with them. Sometimes one simple truth can change someone's day. And I'd love to hear from you. What surprised you today? What fruit are you rethinking? Tell me in the comments below because your voice matters here. If this helped you, click that like button. And if you'd like more gentle, hopeful health guidance, go ahead and subscribe. Let's keep walking this journey together. And remember, your legs don't define your age, your choices do. Stay steady, stay hopeful, and know this: you're not walking alone.